Hello and welcome, PocketWatch here, and it's about time for another episode of Fata Morgana, and we're going to continue our story of, like, Michelle going back to the chapel, to the mansion, I would say, rather. And we'll learn how it happened, that it's been arranged by brothers and mother, and we'll see. Like, I'm really wondering what happened like later in the fourth door, why everything uncovered the way it does, who's been at fault really there. So let's just continue and let's see, maybe this episode, maybe next, who knows, we'll see. Anyway, let's go. It seems like we're getting close to the mansion here. I couldn't remember how long it had been since the capital had disappeared into the distance. But it'd be... Oh, yes, music. I've been on the road for some time now. It will be long since left paved roads behind. The carriage rocked back and forth as it proceeded down the roof-tiered path. For hours, I stared through the window as unfamiliar scenery flowed past. Eventually, a fog started over the area, making it difficult to discern night from day. We made our way through the darkness woods, and beyond them, like the world fading into view after a dream, a mansion appeared before us. Okay. Did I had already... Yeah, okay, I was about to ask about that. All the windows were either shuttered or boarded, encasing the house in darkness. In a way, it felt like all I had done was move from one prison to a much larger one. Briefly I thought they had possibly been sealed to keep anyone from seeing me inside. But my coming here was a very recent development. More likely, then the house had been in this condition when it was initially purchased. Quite a piece of property my father had found himself with. I wonder if he had been swindled by its previous owner. It was a gloomy, uninviting place, but it didn't appear to be in the disrepair. The coachman left my luggage outside the door, gave me an empty farewell, and then went on his way. I was entirely alone. I spent some time just staring out at the forest, but naturally there was nothing of interest to be found there. So I quietly turned around and opened the door to the mansion. There's the familiar door. It's certainly dark. I could barely even see my own feet. Briefly I considered trying to unshutter a window or two, but ended up deciding against it. The less inviting the place looked, the easier it would be for me to avoid contact with the outside world, as Didier had recommended. Standing there in darkness for several minutes, my eyes gradually grew accustomed to the lack of light. While it was hardly ideal, it was sufficient to take a look around the house. The inside didn't seem to have received the same level of care as the outside. Everything was dusty, and the air was many years stale. But I wasn't in a cleaning mood. So I dug through my luggage for a bundle of candles, lighting one with a flint. A stained glass window? Okay. With an angel. Examining the large room I found myself in, I came across a stained glass window depicting an angel. The Archangel, after whom I had been named, looked solemnly down upon me. Quite a joke. 2 columns of evenly spaced pews around the length of the room, all facing the multicolored window. I set a candlestick on the podium of some sort, which is when I realized this is a chapel. Yep. A flat length of silver, bent in the middle, was mounted to the pulpit's face. When I saw it, I knew exactly what it used to be. A cross. The pews weren't facing the stained glass, but the cross. Why though? It felt as though the mansion had been built up around the chapel, rather than the opposite. I was perplexed as to why anyone did that. But of course there was no one around to stake my curiosity. Taking the candlestick back in hand, I made my way beyond the pulpit. Okay. Now he's just checking out the whole mansion. There sat a small metal door. I pressed one hand against the cool surface, and my heart leapt. It was abnormally cold. I wonder if we're going to see the beginning when he started to hearing Morgana. Ah. The door itself seems perfectly normal. An inexplicable anxiety spread through me. It was a very unusual sensation. My instincts told me I should stay far, far away. And my heart told me it was my duty to see what lay beyond. What am I going to find back there? After a few moments' hesitation, I decided to act in opposition to my instincts. Okay. There we are on the stairs. I was looking at a long spiral staircase. The wooden stairs stretched so high I couldn't even tell where they ended. An observation tower, perhaps? As if being pushed forward by some inhuman force, I mounted the staircase. By the third or fourth loop, soft light began peeking into the tower through regularly spaced rectangular openings in the stone walls. Through one such window, I gazed outside, and far off in the distance, beyond the seemingly endless ocean of trees, I saw a small village. Also, didn't Michelle say that there was the bigger opening than just this little window there? But it didn't have an opening even in Morgana backstory. Now I think about this is weird, right? He said that there was a bigger opening, bigger window, and now it's just this little window up there. But even in Morgana backstory, they didn't have the whole thing there. They always had this little window, right? Or I'm forgetting something. Small village, yeah. Nowhere I'm ever going to. So many stairs. It had been quite some time since I exerted myself this much. I had hardly an opportunity, locked away my chambers. With every step I took, I could hear my joints creaking and my muscles screaming. I was long since out of breath, only staying upright with the help of the wall. This is pitiful, damn it. But turning back never occurred to me. I had to keep climbing, I had to make it to the top. And it was that feeling of necessity that pushed my exhausted body upward. By the time I reached the top, I was practically grasping for air. Sweat streamed down my forehead. I wiped it aside, turning my gaze towards yet another door. But unlike the first... What on earth? A tangle of rope covered the surface. Oh! Alright, wait. Yeah, the timeline. This is the same mansion when Morgana died. Right. I don't know why. I was so focused on fucking Bollinger's family that I forgot that we just had Morgana backstory. Yeah, he could find remains maybe of Morgana or something actually. Because I don't know if they would move the remains there. I think everyone would be scared to move them. Because they would feel like this is cursed. They just because Morgana death as Morgana death and everything that happened after her death basically made the rumor of witch on this chapel of this mansion start. So her corpse is probably still up there. Probably there's not much of it left, but it's still probably there, and they just sealed the door with the rope. Okay, I see. A tangle of rope covered the surface. layers upon layers of it, making it abundantly clear. Nothing shall come in or out. It didn't look like it had been put there recently either, as much of it was rotten though. Out of curiosity, I grabbed at the coil and yanked. The rope snapped in several places, chunks falling limply on the floor. Yeah, it's been a while. That wasn't enough to allow the door open though. People only seal doors like this for a reason. Largely because they didn't want or couldn't allow others to see what hide behind them. Like what they did to me. Wow, is he relating to Morgana? I mean, he don't relate to anyone yet, but like he feels like, yeah, this is a similar situation. I've been locked like this. So he's like obviously curious what's inside. For a few moments, I felt as though I was looking down at myself from outside my body. This is from the prologue. Oh my fucking god. This is the sentence from the prologue. I was looking down at myself from outside of my body. Oh my god. This is... Oh my god. So, okay. This is from prologue. Another sentence from the prologue. If it hadn't been this man, but someone else standing there, would they have turned back at the sight of the sealed door, acting as though nothing was there? Or would they have done as I did? I ground my teeth, a mix of annoyance and bitterness rushing through me. But I did not hesitate. I held the flame of the candle up to the wall of rope, careful not to set the whole thing ablaze, slowly, carefully, burning through them one by one. It was repetitive and time-consuming, but I persisted, wiping away sheets of sweat before it streamed into my eyes. The sun was well on its way down before I finally managed to expose the door. Okay. I took a deep breath, looked up at it, and gulped. There was something incredibly chilling about the door. And then I pushed it open. Okay, it was inside. Okay, there's still the small window. A barely noticeable breeze brushed past me. A single ray of sunlight shone into the room, coming from a single window sitting high atop the wall. It cast a milky white patch of light on the hard floor, revealing a body, a skeleton, the fact that I was not alone. The rumor says a witch lives in the mansion. That I saw in this cursed house. Yep, a skeleton with only one arm. Yep, expected, okay. That could be you, Michelle, in the Bollingers. That could be you as well. So that's how he met the remains of Morgana. A cursed mansion for a cursed man. It was like I was destined to end up here. I had no way of finding out who the skeleton belonged to. So I left him there, at the top of the tower, and retreated into thought. Okay. I wonder if, like, Morgana actually was just like his delusional voice in the head. In the, you know? Like, he saw skeleton, he knew the rumors about the witch, and he just like connected these two to be not alone and just like having anyone really to talk to, really, you know? Even like if this is someone who kind of reminded him like himself, because locked in the room and die slowly there, right? And stuff like this, that's what he imagined probably, being locked away. So he didn't want to face Morgana, probably because of that as well. He was like always ignoring her, as we know. Anyway, I wondered to myself, how had the one-armed person died? How had they felt locked in that room? Yeah, he's like going all of this thought process. Staring up at the stall window, so far out of reach, stall window. About the only thing they would have seen was the sky and the occasional bird. Had they yearned for more light? Or had they come to despise the tiny patch of it that trickled into the room? Had there been some sort of wicked criminal, imprisoned for wrongdoing. Not all prisoners are necessarily bad people. Speaking from experience, huh? Having been branded with a non-existent curse, I couldn't help but think that perhaps something similar had happened to whatever they were. Finally reached out for the sun, constantly praying for rescue that would never come. What had gone through their mind as they withered away? Would anyone ever come for me? Would my brothers keep their words? Or would years from now, end up another pile of dry bones somewhere in this house? Unwanted and alone, robbed of all hope, with no one but darkness to talk to. As it sank its teeth deeper and deeper into me. That corpse could be me in the future. Dear Georges, did you really send me here to keep me hidden? Or is this to be my grave? Having second thoughts now. Can I put my faith in you? Can I trust you when you say I will be able to return? That everyone will happily accept me? That we will be together again? That we will play chess? That we will draw pictures? That nobody will be left out? All I really wanted was for people to accept me for who I was. To accept that I was a man. No, that I had grown to resemble a man. That I had the heart of the man. I didn't need anything else. I didn't want to cause anyone anguish. I didn't want to hate anyone. I simply wished to be who I was. No, who I wanted to be. And I didn't want to be treated like I was strange or different. If that was asking too much, then at the very least I wanted to have one person in my life who truly understood me. Wow. You wished to be truly understood, and yet you hid very important things from Giselle that you deemed to be important to you. This is kinda contradicting yourself, you know? Didier, Georges, I pray that you can be that for me. Lurking quietly in the mansion, all-encompassing darkness, I waited and hoped that the day might arrive when I could come out of hiding. Okay. However, 1, 2, 3 years later, I still had not been set free. Only my mother wrote me, and in all her letters she said the same thing. When your curse is broken, come back home, sweetheart. When your curse is broken, I want you back in my life. When your curse is broken, everything will be back to normal. I wait expectantly for the day you're free of that terrible curse. Yeah, the curse would never be broken though. But I was now also what I meant to be. All the time I had spent as the girl, none of that was real. Didier had said he didn't think I was cursed. My brothers didn't think I was some hellish demon child. I wouldn't trust Didier that much though. Like I said in the previous episode, Didier did not really answer the question if I am your brother. Only Georges did. I'm so curious who ultimately betrayed him. Who was the ultimate, villain here? Both of them? Amy arranged that? Mother? Actually just Didier? Or just Georges just made the biggest backstab ever? I don't know. My brothers didn't think I was yeah. So no, the curse would never be broken. Because there was no curse to break. I wasn't cursed at all. There was no damned curse. But the flow of time eroded away at me, slowly killing any confidence I once had. Sucking me dry of all trust for others and myself. With enough time I started questioning my own beliefs about what I was. Started thinking that perhaps I was cursed. Much like they had at the Bollinger estate, the servant who came by every month did his best to avoid making eye contact. But beyond just bringing the food, he was also checking in on me and making sure I didn't attempt to run away. And every month, he probably went back and told the mother the same thing. My curse had still not been broken. Do you have the answers I seek, O Father in heaven? If you do, I ask you to guide me. To please tell me what I am. If I truly am cursed, then perhaps you could tell me how much my soul weighs too. Probably not very much. I spent enough time alone in the dark mansion to drive anyone mad. The more time passed, the more I grew to question myself, my worth as the human being. And whenever the self-doubt and loathing became too much to take, I trekked up to the roof, to the top of the observation tower to see the light. Okay. There's his window into the world, actually. If you think about this now. Sitting there on the hard floor, I would place my hand on the skeleton's leg, its shoulder, its hand. Also, Morgana's skeleton is not here anymore when Giselle got trapped here, right? If I remember correctly. She was not here. So... Did Michelle buried Morgana at some point in the garden? Huh. From the size of the bones, whoever it was appeared to have still been young when their life withered away. Poor child. Even I feel blessed compared to you. Oh, how miserable it must have been, locked away up in this tower. To have your arm mercilessly severed. You have my pity though. I alone shall mourn your death. And I alone shall take comfort in your presence. You poor child. By pretending to pity someone who had it worse than me, I was able to feel somewhat better about myself. Because if I was in the position to pity someone else, then conversely, I wasn't in the position to be pitied. Vainly, foolishly trying to convince myself of a lie, I spent hours, days around that tower, holding the dried bones in my arms. Wow. Wow. This is actually quite heavy. Holy shit. Now, there was a sight to lend credence to my alleged madness. Yeah. Over time, the air in the mansion seems to thicken, as if the fog were condensing. Water pushed out all the air, swallowing me up, suffocating me. A putrid mire. I was trapped at the bottom of this thick black sludge. Soon I lost track of the passage of time, my only landmarks being the dates of Mother's letters. Before I knew it, 8 years had passed. Okay. What the hell is this? I hadn't heard my own voice in so long. I had almost forgotten what it sounded like. There was delivery that day, but it wasn't an unusual package. Oh, is there a picture? This is a picture of Amy, isn't it? He's going into rage. Or like, maybe not rage, but like... hatred. The servant was instead carrying a large rectangular object wrapped in cloth. Oh no. This is going to be Amy's picture, isn't it? Shoving that in my hand, he said, "The regular supplies will be there in a couple of days," and then ran off. Presumably he was afraid to spend any more time than necessary with the cursed man. Or maybe this is some other picture. He had one picture in his room that had like slashed face, basically. But that doesn't appear to be Amy, it appeared like to be his picture. I wonder, okay, let's read. I'm not going to theorize about this, because it's like one sentence probably before, right? But he didn't bother to say anything about it. I knew it was a waste of breath. And I was not inclined to hold it against him. If he didn't want to look me in the eye to exchange words. All I could reasonably do was sit back and bear it. As long as I kept my mouth shut, the man could do his job in peace. By the candlelight I began wrapping the package the servant had delivered. From within, a sheet of parchment fell to the floor, and inside the package was a painting. Okay, what kind of painting? Is that the one that you slashed the face, or Just looking at it, I couldn't tell what it was. Aside from the fact that it was a portrait of the woman. I knew those brush strokes though. They were very distinctly George's. The one decapitated that had the white hair. Okay. White hair. There was a flash. A fresh jolt of pain that had nearly faded away. The half-dozen needles piercing my chest. So much blood had spilled from those gouges I had long since lost any sensation of pain. Now it was back. No, George, you didn't. Oh, did he... Oh, no. Did he make his own image of Michelle? He discredited like his look, basically, from 8 years ago, and drew Michelle as the girl, actually. Refined the face, refined the body to be more like a woman's. And send it to him, so oh my god. That's why, so this is the picture actually that has slashed face. This is probably important to Michelle because it's a present from George's, but also it's just bringing him pain. That's why it's always covered as well. My whole body froze. The blood in my veins came to halt. I couldn't breathe. I was drowning in a pool of imaginary water. I crouched down to pick up the sheet of parchment. It was a letter in Mother's handwriting. Oh no. Mother made him do this, probably. The first line read, as it did all of her correspondence. My beloved daughter Michelle, and every day I pray that your curse might have been broken. But lately I have come to think that perhaps the reason you remain cursed is because you have forgotten what you're supposed to be. Oh my god. So so one good thing is that it's not George's decision. Mother made him do this. Oh wow. So long you have spent in that accursed form. It is a little surprise you would lose sight of yourself. How can you return to your true self if you do not even remember what that is? As I ask George to paint your picture, hoping it might help you break free of your curse. You are a beautiful young woman, my dear Michelle. I presume you have already seen the painting. That's lovely, wouldn't you agree? That flowing white hair, the skin like glass, those deep enchanting red eyes, the slender fingers and the modest feminine frame, those soft lips. If it's not you when you were young, it is not you when you were younger though. Instead, I had him imagine what you would like now. What would you look like now? Right now. What is what you will look like when your curse is broken? Isn't that wonderful? Imagine it. Envision yourself, your true self. Remember who you are. Recall your true self. Oh my god, I have chills. I waited eagerly until the day you came back to me. Looking as beautiful as you do in this painting. My dear sweet Michelle. This is you. This is the real you. You are beautiful, my little girl. And I love you dearly. That awful fuss all those years ago, we can pretend none of that ever happened. Forget all about the dreadful thing that curse made you. Became the girl you used to be, the girl you were meant to be. So we can once more be a happy family. I am waiting. Forever waiting for you. Okay, that's fucked up, yeah. I cannot okay, if Georges really is on Michelle's side, I cannot imagine how weird and bad he felt about this, if he actually is on our side. The letter ended here there, leaving me with the woman in the painting staring back at me. Her eyes seemed to insist that I was not me. That she was the real me. And I was nothing more than a fraud. Laughing at me, scoffing at me for ever thinking I was anything but a female. Mocking me for stubbornly insisting I wanted to be a man. The pain in my chest swelled, spilling from my mouth and grunts and moans. So he didn't keep it because it's from George's. There's no way he would do this. But well, where is he supposed to like take it out, right? I mean, he can technically like send it back, right? And then I screamed from the bottom of my lungs. Why? I yanked at my hair. Why, Georges? Slammed the painting against the floor. Yeah. Influence of the parents, right? And in the like being nobility, he cannot really say no at in that state, right? But I can understand why Michelle is so devastated by this as well. Trusted in Georges, and yet he did what he did. On the other hand, I understand, like, I think I understand how the nobility works there. And he basically cannot say no. You said I could believe you. You swore to the god of art. So why? Why would you do this to me? You said yourself that you didn't think I was cursed. You acknowledged me as your brother. You know this isn't me, so why? Why would you make this? I've been waiting for so long. I put my trust in you and Didier. I trusted you. I believed you would always support me. Was that all a lie? Deep down you really think I'm cursed, just like Mother. And that's why you haven't written to me. Why you haven't answered any of my letters. Oh, right, okay. He did send letters to Georges, it seems. What my faith get me? There's also a possibility that Georges never got any of his letters. Because Amy was like intercepting them. This is pretty much like if you think about this, now I think about this, this is like correlation to the third door with Jacopo. Like white-haired girl, in this case Michelle, sending letters through the imprisonment, someone else intercepting them and altering them maybe. Or even not like, giving it up, but anyway, I expect Amy to answer like taking the letters that Michelle was sending to Georges. And Georges never got any of these letters or they were altered. That's my assumption. So Amy really is like, so George, like, none of it is like George's fault really. Hopefully. I don't even know. Why did you even help me escape? Was it all for show? Was my execution just a lie? An excuse for you to send me somewhere far away? Well, was it? Tell me, Georges. Tell me the truth. What about you, Didier? Where do you stand? No, this isn't real. My voice was getting hoarse. I didn't have the strength to hold it in, and everything came spilling out of me, squeezed out by the phantom water. And the white-haired girl in the painting just stared back at me, smiling. I beat down on my lip as hard as I could. A metallic taste spread through my mouth, drops of blood streaking to the floor. Pulling the knife I used to open the monthly deliveries for my waistband, I lifted it into air, gathering what remained of my strength. This isn't me. It slashed the woman's face with it. This isn't me, I'm not this woman. I am man. Curved into it. This is not how I look. Everything I had. Don't try to erase who I really am. Don't call me repulsive, don't say I'm an abomination. I tore into that smile, contempt surging from every slash. This woman isn't real. I wanted to curse the whole damned world. Every last thing. This wretched mire had become of my life. My brothers were happily going about their lives as I suffered here in the darkness. My delusional mother for refusing to acknowledge who I was. My father for trying to have me killed. Amy for making me realize I was a man, and then for torturing me for coming about it. Everyone. I didn't care anymore. I wanted everyone who ever wronged me to suffer the same way I had. I can make that happen. There's Morgana. A voice rang out. I can curse them for you, my dear. It's a woman's voice, muffled like there were several walls between me and her. Who's there? I swiped out my candlestick, thrusting it forward to the sides behind me, but there was no one else around. Give it a little thought, it's not that difficult. And when you figure it out, come to me. I've been waiting for so long for someone like you. So I have such hatred for the world. I'm supposed to know who you are. Yeah, you've been kinda hugging me all this time, you know? How could you not, my dear? You visited me so many times. Held me in your arms, whispered poor child into my ear again and again. What? No, that's not possible. I see I finally truly lost my mind. If that's what you wish to believe, that's your choice. But the way I see it, if you had truly lost your mind, you wouldn't be in so much pain. The voice, still muffled and unclear, seems to be coming from somewhere far away and very close but by the same time. Find your way to me and open the door once more. Let me out of my cage. Give me your hand. I knew in the back of my mind that it was all absurd, but nonetheless I did as the voice said. I let myself to be drawn in by the pleasant whispers. The archangel stood proudly upon his glass perch, looking down at me. His gaze almost seemed judgmental. But I marched for the tower unconcerned. For so long I've been waiting for the day I would be rid of this darkness. For the day someone would truly set me free. When we arrived at this house, I felt the hands of fate at work. That you were led here, that you were meant to come to this place. You've been through so much to get here. I know your pain. I know how it feels to be locked up, to be tortured and used for others' gain. You were the only one to ever have pity for me. And I shall be the only one to have compassion for you. You are the only one to stay at my side. I shall do the same for you. You can give me life again. You can resurrect me. Okay. Now open the door, Michelle.